Best-selling author Amanda Prowse is joining me in studio. We are going to be chatting about her novel, Perfect Daughter. Hello.
Hello.
It's so nice to have you in studio. I'm actually very excited.
Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be here. Very cool studio.
It's not your first time in South Africa.
No, my second.
But you were just telling us how much you love Cape Town, and we love to bask in all of our glory. So just tell me again how much you love Cape Town.
It's very few cities that you go to in the world where everywhere you look there's something beautiful to look at, whether it's a beautiful historic building or a beautiful palm tree or that glorious mountain. I mean, you're spoilt really because it's absolutely stunning.
We are spoiled, aren't we?
Yeah, amazing.
Now we're talking about Perfect Daughter, but you've actually released a book since then. Since this has come out, haven't you?
I have, yes. I've had a book called A Mother's Story.
Did you forget?
You know what? The trouble is, in my defence, that in different countries in the world, different books are released in different orders. Okay. So keeping track of it is sometimes a bit tricky. But yes, a book called A Mother's Story has come out following that one. But this is still selling. It's still sort of a top of all the charts in the UK. Has been for nearly 6 months, which is amazing.
Now, were you writing the two novels at the same time? I was trying to work out the time frame and when you had worked on these books. Do you work on two different books at the same time?
No, I work on 3 different books at the same time.
Okay.
I know, 3. I don't do anything else. My house is filthy. We have no groceries in the cupboard. And I don't even own a hairbrush. I don't have time to brush my hair because I'm just writing books all the time.
Well, you look fabulous.
Thank you. So no, I do 3 at the same time. And that works for me because I write very different books. So sometimes I'm writing a book that's quite hard-hitting, quite emotional. And then I tend to write a book that's a bit lighter, a bit softer. And by switching to that one, it kind of keeps my mind on a level. And also, if I'm having a great idea for a book that I know that's coming out maybe next year, I can't help but, as I did this morning, in fact, sit and just write 1,000 words of that just to keep it fresh in my mind.
I think you are a very unique writer for doing that because I think most people and even some writers might get confused when it comes to characters and story development, and I know authors really like to immerse themselves in the lives of their characters. Is it hard for you to switch?
No, and my head's very busy. They're all in there right now, all battling to get out.
What are they trying to say?
They're saying, hurry up and get back to the little keyboard because we want to know what happens next. It's very, very hectic. You see, I'd have been locked up years ago for being, for all these characters that live in my head that I actually converse with on a regular basis. But now it's just like I make a living from it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, you just cover it up by saying, I'm a writer. I write books. I make characters.
Exactly. But no, I do absolutely care about my characters, and I try to write people that I think it would be great to meet. I write women who I think I'd like to go and have a coffee with. I write women who reflect every woman. And my stories are very ordinary. They're about ordinary real-life situations and what happens when something comes along that pulls the rug from under them or, throws their whole life into the air. And it's how they cope. And I think the most letters I get are from women all over the world. And it doesn't matter whether they're in India or Norway or South Africa. They all say to me, that's how I felt. That happened to me. So obviously I've got something that's very common to everyone going on, which is great.
I know you've said before that you never thought you were going to be a writer. No. When you're telling me now that women from all corners of the earth are writing to you and telling you that they can relate with your stories and thanking you for writing these stories, what does that make you feel like?
It makes me feel like my life is a fairy story. It's just incredible. I mean, 5 or 6 years ago I was just a regular wife and mum. And then my life changed. I decided to write after recovering from cancer, and that was my defining moment for me. I thought, right, what do I want to do with what time I've got left? I thought I want to write stories, or at least try. And to be honest with you, I never really thought about anyone buying them or whether they'd be popular. I just wanted to do it for me. I suppose it was kind of like, cathartic in a way to get these stories down. So the fact that they've caught the imagination, that people love reading them, and I can go to a bookstore in Cape Town, living in London, and suddenly there's a selection of books on a shelf. For me, it's like an absolute dream come true. It's pinch me stuff, and I'm absolutely thankful every day.
Now, we were speaking about your family before this interview. How are they dealing with all of your success and fame? You really are this larger-than-life author at the moment. Everyone loves you. How do they deal with that?
They're very disinterested. Yeah, I have 2 boys.
They keep you grounded.
Tell you what, they absolutely do. I've got 2 boys who are a handful. They're great, they're good fun, but they're kind of, it's just mum, and as long as they've got, chicken and chips on the table at night and they've got clean pants in the drawer, they don't care about much else. And in fact, we had a newspaper, a UK newspaper came to do an interview in the house, and I was saying, look, please, just make out you're interested, just for today, look happy, read a book. And the journalist said to one of my sons, which of your mum's books do you prefer? He was like, I haven't read any. I was like, yet. He hasn't read them yet, but I'm sure he will.
He's just joking. Exactly, yeah. He's so funny.
They don't read much, and they don't read their mum's books at all. I think they're at that age where it's all a bit embarrassing. You know, one of my boys, though, I think he's cottoned on. If he sees a girl reading an Amanda Prowse book, chances are, you know, it could be good for him. So he kind of sidles in there and goes, oh, enjoying that? That's my mum. But the other one would just like run a mile, I think, rather than admit that I'm his mum. So it's normal. They're fine.
That is normal. It's
Yeah.
totally normal. One day.
One day, maybe.